California Governor Gavin Newsom is now calling his city's homeless encampments unacceptable, which is odd since he's the guy who, made them acceptable, turning sidewalks into red carpet events for drug addicts, thieves, and unemployed CNN anchors. On Monday, he urged cities to ban the camps from sidewalks, parks, and other public areas. So after years of denying the problem, he's now pretending to fix it, which is like putting on a condom as you're leaving a whorehouse.
Gutfeld just tore apart Gavin Newsom's carefully crafted image, and when the dust settled, all that remained were ashes and that signature slicked-back hair catching the spotlight in defeat. In a takedown sharp enough to rattle every liberal echo chamber, Greg Gutfeld sliced through Newsom's contradictions, dismantled his hollow policies, and left the California governor frozen like a deer caught in prime-time glare. This wasn't ordinary comedy. It was a full-on political teardown. And Newsom never saw it coming. Buckle up, this was Gutfeld completely unleashed.
So Newsom is fed up with tent cities, the crime, the urban decay? No, he's not mad about that stuff. He's mad you noticed. It's like a criminal telling a jury he's sorry he robbed 25 banks when he's just sorry he got caught on the 26th. Because this isn't some spontaneous crisis. It's a man-made disaster like Chernobyl or Fox and Friends.
What started as an ordinary night on the Gutfeld stage, the studio lights blazing, a coffee mug in hand, and that trademark smirk locked in place, quickly turned into something far more explosive. This wasn't the usual mix of playful jabs or light banter. Tonight, Greg Gutfeld stepped onto the set fully armed for rhetorical combat. And his target? None other than California's polished political prince, Gavin Newsom. The man whose hair seems ready to run for office on its own, and whose press conferences often look more like glossy fashion spreads than government updates.
Took common sense as his high ground.
Right.
There's no place outside of it.
That's right.
And so they're stuck in this horrible, horrible place, much like you, Jamie, and your life. As California falls apart, it must remind you somewhat of your own personal life.
Yeah. Sometimes I look at footage of California and I go, oh, look how much better it is than mine.
If this fiery takedown has you hooked, hit that subscribe button, because the so-called poster boy of progressive perfection is showing cracks everywhere. Behind the polished image lies a mountain of failures piling up like unpaid parking tickets. And Greg Gutfeld wasn't about to let any of them slide. He came at California's golden political darling, Gavin Newsom, with the fury of a late-night comic who's had his fill of spin. Gutfeld shredded the governor's glossy persona like a rejected Hollywood script, overhyped, shallow, and long overdue for a rewrite. So let's rewind, because Newsom has coasted for years on that golden boy reputation of the left, and Gutfeld just ripped the mask clean off.
Why do I keep bringing up Gavin? Well, other than my respect for his work in American Psycho, he's starting to distance himself from his party's worst ideas. Newsom, a guy who hates fossil fuels but could still bring down the price of gas by wringing out his hair, once proclaimed that his state would be a sanctuary to all who seek it. Then people actually came.
Then the people actually showed up. He flashed that toothpaste commercial grin, tossed out buzzwords like he was headlining a TED Talk, and strutted around as if California were his perfectly polished kingdom. But somewhere between the glossy speeches and glittering dinners, the reality outside his mansion walls began to crumble, and Greg Gutfeld wasn't about to ignore it. When he stepped onto the stage that night, the air felt electric. You could sense it instantly. He was done with polite smiles and finished with careful introductions. He was ready to unleash a storm of truths sharp enough to puncture Gavin Newsom's so-called bulletproof ego in seconds.
With authoritarianism, you get chaos and destruction. So if restoring order is evil, then the Dems are now the party of disorder. Turns out the only system they had was wokeism, and it rotted any basic principles the party had to begin with. Which is why, like Gavin himself, they're left looking at 2028's hopes going up in flames. And this time, no one is going to help them put it out.
He opened by tearing off the glossy veneer and revealing the rot beneath it. California, the state Newsom loves to parade as a model of progress, now has streets that resemble open-air drug markets, with tent cities stretching for miles. Taxes climbed so high that Elon Musk practically sprouted wings and fled to Texas. And the crime? Gutfeld didn't even have to exaggerate. The reality was harsher than any punchline. Smash and grabs left businesses in pieces. Carjackings became as routine as calling an Uber. Yet in the middle of all the chaos, Gavin Newsom strutted around as if nothing was wrong.
His track record, his performance as mayor, as lieutenant governor, and governor. And your analogies are great. I think mine are better. And just hold on. And here's why. He shows up at the fires and says, who the hell caused this? I'm going to crack down on the people responsible. He sees the homeless encampments blocking the sidewalks and said, you guys clean that up. He started it. He spent $3 billion to fix it. And his opening words in 2020 when it got the job is a disgrace. The richest state in the country and the richest nation of the world has a homeless problem. I will fix it. He spends $1 billion. When it's not fixed, he blames the mayors. And he also forced the movie industry and Silicon Valley out of the best state in the country by high taxes. I've never seen someone such a bad performance, but yet I think he's the front runner to get the nomination for the Democratic Party.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. They got nobody else. Sherrod, welcome back.
And still, somehow, Newsom found time to lecture other states, yes, other states, on morality, freedom, and good governance. That's when Gutfeld cranked the heat to full blast. This wasn't just hypocrisy. It was political theater at its peak, with Newsom playing the overpaid actor who can't remember his lines. Gutfeld painted the picture with brutal clarity. A governor scolding Florida for book bans while kids in his own state struggled to read at grade level, condemning Texas for abortion laws while his own streets drown in fentanyl, filth, and forgotten lives. The laughter in the room bubbled up as Gutfeld's sarcasm sliced deeper than anger ever could. And then he arrived at the centerpiece, Newsom's supposed triumph of the era. His big moment to shine. His chance to prove he was more than a glossy image.
This week, Newsom said he hopes the conservative Supreme Court will overturn the current law that bans his state from removing out-of-control homeless encampments. Imagine that. Well, what did you expect, Gavin? That the sanctuary seekers were going to show up in Winnebagos? Once again, another example of a high-profile lib using his big mouth to write a check his ass can't cash. And last year, after the Texas Governor Abbott ordered that parents of transitioning children should face criminal investigation, Newsom then tweeted this: trans kids and their families should be celebrated, not targeted by the state. They are heroes. And so to fearful families in Texas right now, California's door is always open.
With a sly grin, Gutfeld set the scene. California's middle class was evaporating faster than hand sanitizer during a pandemic panic. Small businesses were closing for good, while Hollywood elites and Silicon Valley billionaires clinked champagne behind their gated fortresses. And through it all stood Gavin, smiling, perfectly coiffed, as if the suffering around him were nothing more than the backdrop for his next campaign photo op. But Gutfeld wasn't just mocking. He was striking with blunt force truth. Families weren't leaving California for fun. They were fleeing to survive. Once proud companies packed up and moved to states that actually let them breathe, places like Texas and Florida. Even lifelong residents were left staring at their hometowns and asking the chilling question no politician ever wants to hear. How did we fall this far?
Think about Gavin Newsom. What's going on there?
I don't know. I don't know how they bump out Kamala out of VIP, put a white male in there and take her out. She's got too much of an ego to just step aside. She's going to go crazy if they try to do that.
Plus, she had a strong 2% support, so don't forget that.
Yeah, but she's waiting for that spot to just open for her, and then you put a white male in there.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to put. I mean, they did it to Bernie. They threw him under the bus two presidential ones in a row. They just gave him a couple extra houses in Vermont. Go, yeah, you got some extra money. But I don't know how they could do it with her.
It'd be great if they threw her under the bus, because she really likes buses, remember?
Then Gutfeld zeroed in on the man at the center of it all. It was like watching a reverse magic act. Every illusion Newsom had carefully crafted was stripped away, piece by piece. The so-called economic growth? Smoke and mirrors. His vaunted climate leadership? Empty stunts wrapped in flashy solar panels and recycled speeches. His compassion? Only as far-reaching as the cameras could see. Just when it seemed Gutfeld had finished, he delivered the knockout. Not with anger, but with icy precision. He likened Newsom's California to a dazzling mansion with glittering windows and manicured lawns. But inside, the walls reeked of mold, the foundation was cracked, and the roof leaked despair. A house of slogans masking beams ready to collapse. The audience gasped, then erupted into laughter. Not because Gutfeld exaggerated, but because he spoke the truth everyone knew but few dared say. California wasn't a shining beacon. It was a blazing warning sign.
To sell maps of celebrity homes, not landmines. Now, instead of sightseeing, tourists play hopscotch so their shoes don't get hepatitis. And when residents complain, they're called cruel. And now we're supposed to believe Gavin? Hell no. All the problems of the last decade were based on his and his party's lies.
The crowd wasn't laughing at just another joke. They were laughing in recognition, because the truth cut sharper than any punchline. Gutfeld delivered it flawlessly. Somewhere out there, maybe in a plush hotel suite or behind velvet curtains, Newsom was probably smirking, convinced no TV host could touch him. He was wrong. So very wrong. Gutfeld didn't just dent the armor. He ripped it wide open and danced on the wreckage. This wasn't just about politics or whispered presidential dreams. It was a warning about exporting California's chaos across America. The thought alone sent chills. If California is the experiment, then Newsom is the reckless scientist in a lab coat, and the entire nation is his next risky test subject.
Then came the national polling by overwhelming majorities. It turns out Americans don't favor minors transitioning. So last week, when a California law was proposed that judges in custody cases favor the parent who supports transitioning a child's new gender, Newsom killed that law quicker than a late-term abortion. Yeah, I know, huh? Now the left, being the left, was outraged, but they missed something, because now Newsom says he only vetoed it since it's already the law.
Gutfeld wasn't buying it. Not for a second. He closed with a mic drop only he could pull off, a half smile, a sip from his mug, and a piercing stare into the camera that seemed to say, "We see you, Gavin." No amount of gel could hide this mess. What made it unforgettable wasn't just the sharp jokes or clever lines. It was the precision, the truth, the surgical strike that dismantled Newsom's glittering myth with sarcasm sharpened like steel. He didn't shout or pound the desk. He let the facts twist the knife. With biting clarity, Gutfeld led viewers through San Francisco's wasteland, where billionaires step over human waste on their way to dinner and businesses close not from competition, but from lawlessness and neglect. And as he painted this grim picture with that signature smirk, the message thundered loud and clear. Newsom's California isn't a shining example. It's a giant warning label screaming, "Do not repeat this disaster."
Ponders why Dems lost.
We lost. We lost the popular vote, and we lost the electoral vote. We got crushed, and we need to be humble about that, and we need to have some grace, and we need to understand why. Was it because of the incumbency penalty? Was it because of inflation? Was it because of interest rates? Was it because of immigration? Was it because we were too quote-unquote woke? Was it because of issues with Israel? Was it all of the above? I think we are going through that forensic. We need to understand at the same time, we also have to push back against the whitewaters and headwinds of the Trump administration.
To voters, he's the classic wolf in sheep's hair gel. And Gutfeld nailed the hypocrisy with razor precision. There was Newsom demanding masks, lockdowns, and shuttered businesses, while he dined maskless at the French Laundry, sipping wine with elites as if the rules applied to everyone else but him. Gutfeld didn't need to shout. He leaned into the absurdity, letting the crowd laugh through the injustice. The punchlines stung because they weren't exaggerations. They were facts everyone already knew but few dared speak. Then came the mass exodus, families fleeing California by the thousands, desperate for a government that didn't treat them like enemies. The laughter wasn't just amusement. It was recognition of a migration born from frustration and survival. The brilliance of Gutfeld's takedown was that he ripped Newsom's mask clean off, exposing the hollow performance without even breaking a sweat.
He's the classic wolf in sheep's hair gel. Just watch him answer the tough questions.
Any other questions here?
Yes, Governor. California has a terrible homeless problem. Why do you think that is?
I appreciate that question. And I think it's a matter of perspective. Let's kind of flip the script on that, okay? Let's kind of put a new lens on that. I mean, you see a homeless man, I see an outdoorsman. We got a lot of natural habitat in this state, and I'm just so proud that so many people in California can take advantage of that. All right, next.
In with smooth lines and no backbone, Gutfeld leaned into the absurdity of Newsom's ambitions, tearing open the not-so-secret whisper campaign for the White House. The notion that a governor of a collapsing state could step onto the national stage and sell that chaos to America? Pure comedy gold. And Gutfeld delivered it flawlessly. Not with cruelty, but with razor-sharp clarity. IT was the comedy of exposure. Every smirk, every pause, every jab drove the point home. This wasn't leadership, it was branding. And the brand was rotting from within. Gutfeld didn't crush Newsom with rage or cheap shots. He hit him with something far deadlier to a politician addicted to optics. Honesty, irony, and unshakable confidence. The kind of truth that doesn't shout, but smashes through spin like a freight train. That night, Gutfeld didn't just win, he obliterated. And somewhere in California, Newsom is still reeling, wondering what hit him. Spoiler, it was reality. Hand-delivered by Greg Gutfeld.